What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I hope y'all are as happy to see me as I am to see you, because it has been a week. It's been very long, hot, stressful, exhausting, and this is my happy place. So I am super excited to be sitting down and filming this video for y'all. We are going to do a haul and try on. I have an exorbitant amount of stuff sitting here in front of me. Let's just put it that way. I have everything that I had planned on filming with last week piled on top of everything that I had planned on filming with this week, and then some other things that have kind of trickled in. So it's overwhelming. It's a ton of stuff, and honestly, it's mostly blush. Like, it has been the year of the blush and they just keep coming at us. So I might actually have to kind of do a designated blush video where we just kind of sit down and chat about all of the blushes that have come out this year. We swatch them, try them on, talk about color ranges, prices, formulas, all of that, see what's good and what's not. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know down in the comment section. I think it sounds like a lot of fun, kind of like an ultimate blush guide. But like I said, today we are going to do a haul and try on video. But before I jump into that, I did want to give a huge thank you to those of you who did reach out to me in my comments and over on my DMs and on Instagram for all of your like positive thoughts, love, prayer, vibes, all of those things coming at us. We definitely felt it here, and it was a really surreal feeling to have so many people that I've never met before that I just kind of sit here and talk to through like a phone screen, computer screen, whatever, have so many like just positive things coming at me. It really felt good. It really humbled me and made me feel very blessed to have y'all in my tiny little community here on YouTube and over on Instagram. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I'm going to zoom y'all in just a smidgen, get my hair out of my face, and we're just going to start playing with some makeup and chit-chatting. All right, y'all, so we are zoomed in, my hair's out of my face. I'm gonna go ahead and start with primer. This is not a new one. I have already used this, tested it, given you my full thoughts on it. And while I'm doing this, I just wanna let y'all know I will have all these products listed and linked down below in the description box per usual. So if you're ever curious about anything that I use in my videos on my face, always check the description box. I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. And I just want to let y'all know for reference, in case you're new here, hello, my name is Sarah. I am 39 years old. I do live in Houston, Texas. It is very hot, very humid, but I have a normal skin type. So I don't get too oily, I don't get too dry. It stays very even keeled, and I generally prefer a light to medium coverage foundation that has more of like a natural finish to it. I don't really prefer anything too matte, and I don't like anything over the top glowy. So that's kind of where we're sitting with all of this. So keep that in mind as I'm trying all this on, as I'm giving y'all my first initial impression thoughts, getting that Katie hair off of my nose, or even in my speed reviews videos whenever I talk about these, a lot of it comes down to preference. But okay, face is primed. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the newness that we have sitting right here. So up first, I have this one from Ritual Defy. This is the Creature of Light Full Face Serum Illuminator. Now, I absolutely love an illuminator, and I have been on the hunt for illuminator that doesn't lean yellow. A lot of them lean very yellow, like the e.l.f., the Charlotte Tilbury, the Juvia's Place. I don't know what it is, but I want something that is cool toned. I am very fair with a very cool undertone, and I do have several in my collection that are more on like the pinky side leaning. But y'all, this one, first of all, look at that bottle. Absolutely beautiful. They do have several different shades. I will be popping up prices and shade ranges of different products, but absolutely beautiful. This does come in a glass bottle. It has a pump on it, which I absolutely love. But this one, y'all, I have to show you. I hope the camera is gonna pick it up, but it has like this really cool like pinky purple like shift to it, so definitely more on the cool tone side. Hopefully whenever I put it on my face you'll actually be able to see it, but it feels like it's super lightweight, very moisturizing. I actually saw Heather Austin talk about it in I think one of her weekly makeup hauls. I love Heather Austin. She's absolutely adorable, absolutely beautiful, and she's just, I just love her. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this on. So I'm gonna do one pump, put this on my face, and the fact that this has like this pearlescent finish to it really intrigued me. But this is one of those products that you can put on its own under a foundation, mix it in with a foundation. You can use it as a highlighter, and I was intrigued. I really do enjoy Ritual Defy. I haven't tried a whole lot from the brand, but just the things that I have tried, I have enjoyed. But look at that. That looks really pretty. This does have like sort of a fragrance to it, but it's not an obnoxious fragrance. It's like a very light fruity fragrance. It does feel very hydrating, but it doesn't feel oily or greasy, and I'm kind of liking that pearlescent cast that it has on the skin. I think it's really pretty. All right, let's jump into foundation, but before we do that, I have a quick little side note, something to kind of update y'all on. This is kind of random and out of the blue, but when I did my last ice cream beauty box unboxing and try on, I told y'all that I subscribed for the ZC subscription box, that they have it on their website. I'm a sucker for a subscription box. I know they're kind of like not cool anymore, but I still love them. But I signed up for it, and it was kind of a journey to get it to me. First of all, they charged me and then they canceled my subscription, and so I emailed them and asked them, you know, am I still gonna get my box? If not, am I gonna get a refund? Like, I never heard back from them about their SPF primer either, and I never heard back from them about the other 2 emails that I sent either. But all of a sudden, during the storm, when things kind of let up, we still didn't have power, but my box showed up and I didn't know what it was, so I opened it up and it was the products in the subscription box. So I want to show y'all really quick. I will timestamp onto the next thing if you're not interested in this, but I wanted to show y'all really quick what I got in it because I laughed. First of all, they claim that the box retails for up to $80, and it's supposed to be like new exclusive products, things that haven't hit the scene yet. So keep that in mind. So first of all, in the box, I got a liquid eyeliner in black. Okay, cool. I'm excited. I'm actually looking for a new liquid black eyeliner because mine are kind of running low. I also got this brush right here. This looks like an eye brush. I haven't opened it yet to even check it out. I just saw that it was a brush. So this little brush right here, this is actually just a really nice brush. It's kind of soft, flimsy, nothing to write home about, but I got these 2 absolutely beautiful boxes right here. This one is upside down. So these 2 boxes right here. This one says it's the Palace Identity Dragon Velvet Lipstick. I opened this one up first because I was curious. I haven't swatched anything. I haven't tried anything on. So it slides out. You get this really pretty like vellum paper in it. And look at this component, y'all. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. Like, how gorgeous is that? I will say the dragon looks a little bit cheap, but this does feel very weighty. It feels very luxe. And this is the lipstick color that we got. So this is the shade M01. Everything is in Chinese. So this is what we got, and look at that embossing on that lipstick. Like, absolutely gorgeous. I don't think we're going to try that on in this video. It's not going to go with anything that I'm going to be using. But here's where it got interesting. So this is the makeup foundation lotion. This box was not customizable, okay? Like, there was nowhere to put in skin tone, undertone, nothing. So I was excited. I was like, ooh, a foundation. I love a foundation. So I opened it up. Again, we have this beautiful vellum paper in here, beautiful detail. We have, let me show y'all the component because this is absolutely beautiful. And it says it's a golden phoenix. Y'all, that's a peacock. That's not a phoenix. Like, I have a phoenix tattoo on the back of my neck. That's not a phoenix, but are y'all ready for this? Y'all, this is like 50 shades too dark for me. Like, I love that this brand has something that's that dark because it is an Asian beauty brand, but like, what? So I have to show y'all because I was really curious. So I did like a small little swatch on the back of my hand because I was like, well, maybe I can use it as a bronzer. Y'all, that is not going to be a bronzer for me. I will say the formula itself feels very nice. It feels very thin. It like blends out really beautifully. I like the consistency of it. I don't know what the coverage is. Let's see here. This says it's a liquid to powder formula, ideal for combination oily skin types, up to 12-hour oil control. It adheres flawlessly to the skin, it leaves no stain. It doesn't say. I'm guessing it's like a medium to full coverage. That's kind of what it looks like to me. So I don't know what to do with this. I did email the company. I don't expect to hear anything back, but just kind of letting them know like, hey, I am a consumer. I paid for this and this is completely unusable for me. I am gonna try and mix it with some of my LA Girl Pro White Mixer and see if maybe I can use it as a bronzer, but otherwise I think I might give it to a friend. I have somebody I think this might work for her in mind. But it's just such a beautiful, beautiful product. I did pay for it and it's a little bit disappointing, but I just wanted to kind of update y'all on that really quick. Like, the fact that I've never heard back from the company, I have now sent them 4 different emails. And if you're gonna do a subscription box and you're going to send out complexion products such as foundation and concealer, you need to make it customizable. Otherwise, these products should not be included. Like, I totally understand that you're not gonna like everything in a mystery box. Like, it's gonna come down to preferences, such as like eyeshadow colors and things like that, lipsticks, all of that, but complexion products, those are very personal and very like unique to each person. Editing Sarah here, so I wanted to jump in really quick and say one more thing that I forgot to mention. So after I opened up the box and saw what was in it, I went onto YouTube and started kind of like searching to see if anybody else had gotten a ZC subscription box, and I found another girl that had gotten one, and I think the video was from 8 months ago, but she got the exact same products that I had gotten, and she is fair complected. She got the same dark foundation, the same red lipstick. I think she got a white liner, and then she got the same brush, but these boxes claim to be like new exclusive, and I'm getting the same thing that somebody else got 8 months ago. And from my experience with subscription boxes, everybody basically gets the same box every single time. So are they just sending out random boxes to people, or is it, I mean, I don't know. I was really, really confused about it. I have a hair stuck to my face. I'm so sorry. I was really confused about it, and that kind of threw me off. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to jump in really quick, but back to the video. Why are we doing this? That's my little rant. I'm gonna get off my soapbox and we're gonna carry on because I do have a foundation to play with. I have this new one from MAC. This is the Strobe Dewy Skin Tint. I have the shade Light 2. I absolutely love the MAC Strobe Cream. It is one of my favorite illuminators. It has like more of a pinky tone to it. And when they came out with this, I was really excited about it because I do love a skin tint. I like a light to medium coverage foundation. So we're gonna test this out. It might be pretty glowy over what I already have going on, but we're here to play. I just wanna play. I just wanna put on makeup and just test things out. So, like I said, I have shade number 2. Let me do a swatch on the back of this hand since I have that one over there. So this is what we're looking like, and oh, I think that's gonna be a really good shade match. It is very, very glowy. So I'm curious to see how it's gonna look on the skin, how it's gonna wear. I am going to powder it down today, but as usual, I will continue to test out all of these products and let y'all know my final collective thoughts in a future speed reviews video. But let me go ahead and kind of wipe off my hands, grab a brush, and we're gonna put on some foundation. All right, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of this on and then I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. I prefer to do a skin tint with a brush just because I feel like it leaves a little bit more coverage. I feel like when you do one with a sponge, it kind of takes it away and shears it out even more. If that's your jam, totally go for it. But like I said, I prefer a brush. This is a Sigma F48. It's one of their new ones that they released. It's a really good foundation brush. It's not too dense, but it's nice and soft. But so yeah, last week, y'all, we had Hurricane Beryl rain down on us. And it's funny because we were watching her like out in the Gulf and everything and watching where she was supposed to go and what she was supposed to do, and she was massive for such a long time, and then after she hit land she kind of died down a little bit. Like, you know the story if you've been following the news. If you haven't, that's what happened. And she was supposed to originally hit Mexico, so we were just supposed to get like some light outer bands of rain. We weren't supposed to get a whole lot, and by the time they realized where she was gonna go and what her trajectory was, it was like Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday morning, and we had already gotten rain. Or maybe it was Saturday. I think it was Saturday by the time we knew, but we were already getting rain. We were already starting to feel the effects of it. Now, we're always prepared for hurricane season. Like, we always have water, we have lanterns, batteries, we have the little charging things that you can plug everything into, the battery banks, all of that. I always have gas in my cars. Like we always keep them. Like once they hit half a tank, we usually fill them back up. So that wasn't a big deal, but she was a category 1 and we didn't think that we were going to get what we got from her. That is really, really pretty. It might be a smidgen too dark for me, but since it's a skin tint, I think it's gonna work for my skin. But very glowy. It feels very hydrating. It doesn't feel as sticky as you would think it's gonna feel. It still feels a little bit sticky on my skin. Obviously, I just put it down. But this is one of those I don't think that you need like the actual glowy base on underneath it. It's kind of like a 2-in-1 is from what I gathered. But I do like the way that looks on my skin. I really do. But anyways, like I was saying, we just expected a bunch of rain. Like we've been through Ike, that was a category 3. We went through Harvey, that was a category 4. And we got a lot with that. So we just thought, okay, this is gonna be a category 1. It's gonna be windy, it's gonna be dark. We might get some minor power outages, maybe a little bit of flooding. There's parts of Houston that always flood, but we didn't think that we were going to have no power for 4 days. There are still people in this city that don't have power. My best friend just got power on this morning. It is Monday morning when I'm filming this. So she went well over like a week without power. And there's still a bunch of people that don't have power out here. They're working on it. But I think CenterPoint, which is our electric provider here in Texas, I don't know what other states have. I've never lived anywhere else, so Texas is all I know. But they just weren't prepared, and they had been working around the clock to get us taken care of. And I feel bad because they're getting a lot of hate from it, but it kind of is what it is. Okay, for concealer, I have the new Danielessa Myrix Yummy Skin Concealer. I hope this isn't too light because I've heard some people say that it runs super, super light, but I kind of went off of the description versus the swatches. But this is shade number 1. It is a cool undertone, and I'm really excited about this. I love Danielessa Myrix. I love her line. I love her products. Her skin tint that she came out with last year is one of my favorites. This is going to be extremely light, but I still think it's doable. So let's go ahead and try this one out. But anyways, so like I said, we lost power Monday morning. Like hurricane started hitting. It was like maybe 4:30 in the morning. I could hear like the thunder. I could hear the wind. Katie kind of woke me up. My dog, if you're new here, where is she? I think she's back over there. She woke me up. She's terrified of thunderstorms, and I was kind of awake ever since then, and the power kept flickering like in and out, in and out, in and out, and then all of a sudden it went out. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. It went out. It never came back on. And yeah, we were out until Thursday evening. So we just kind of lived off of snack food for the first few days. Actually, Monday night I was able to make dinner because the stuff hadn't gone bad yet. We lost everything in the fridge and the freezer, but it hadn't gone bad yet. So we had like spaghetti that night, and then the next day, me and my oldest son kind of ventured out. We went to Target, got some like whatever we could that didn't need to be refrigerated, and then we were on the hunt for ice. We managed to find some, but the place that we found it from, he price gouged us. He charged us $5 for a bag of ice, which is totally illegal and absolutely ridiculous, but desperate times call for desperate measures. So we kind of lived off of snack food for a few days. We were sitting in the car to get some air conditioning, charging blocks, all of that, and made sure that the dogs were kept nice and cool because Katie was getting really, really hot. She already has a ton of fur, and she's used to being in air conditioning, aren't we all? But luckily it wasn't too hot of a week, but I will say that the evenings got a lot hotter than what you would think. But all right, concealer. Let's talk about this concealer really quick. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's not quite as light as I thought it was gonna be. It's definitely a brightening moment, which I don't always prefer, but I do have powders in my collection that I can set it down with to kind of even that out a little bit. But I'm liking the way that it's sitting under my eyes. It doesn't feel too thick or too thin and heavy. It feels very hydrating under my eyes, and yeah, I think that is really, really pretty. Okay, I'm not mad about that at all. All right, before we do blush, I want to see if I can make this work as a liquid bronzer. Like I said, I have my Pro mixing pigment in white, so I'm going to see if I can kind of do like a very strategic mixture and kind of make this work for me a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to try too hard, but I do want to play with it and see what I can do. But so like I was saying, where are we up to? Okay, Thursday. Thursday was my oldest son's 17th birthday. So he was a little bit bummed, but we did manage to find like a Chick-fil-A was open for breakfast, Taco Bell was open for dinner, and we got power back on that night. So all in all, it turned out to be not too bad. Oh, that's like really, really like gray. Like, oh, let's add a little bit more of the foundation. But so our power did come back on Thursday night, thankfully, and we did not have like horrible damage. We had some trees fall in the neighborhood, but luckily they were all like off of people's property, behind the fence. They hit roads, but they didn't hit anybody's house. We had a little bit of roof damage. We had like some fence damage. We did have a lot of debris in the yard, but it wasn't anything that can't be fixed, anything that made it inhabitable or anything like that. But yeah, we kind of spent the weekend, you know, cleaning up, cleaning out the refrigerator, the freezer, doing laundry. Yeah, y'all, that's just way too cool toned. We're gonna skip that. Okay, we're gonna move on to blush. That was fun to kind of mix and play, but this clearly is not going to work for me in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna see if I have a friend that can use it instead. All right, so let's move on to blush. So for blush, I have a ton sitting here. I've got Huda Beauty, I have Hourglass, I've got the pocket blushes from Rhode Beauty. We've got, what is this? Kylie Cosmetics, ColourPop. I know there's more. Oh, look, we've got ABH, we've got Maybelline, we've got L'Oreal. We have all of the things. So I'm just going to kind of play with what I want to play with, what I'm most excited about, which I'm really excited about all of them. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do a Rhode Pocket Blush or if I want to do the Hourglass blush. Like, decisions are really, really hard, but y'all, I think I'm going to go with the Hourglass. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go with Hourglass. Okay, decision has been made. Okay, so this is the new Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush. I picked up the shade Vision. They have several different shades. These actually weren't too pricey for the fact that they are an Hourglass product, but look at that component. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and it reminds me of the Danielessa Myrix Yummy Skin, the what are they called? The drops. I can't remember which ones they are because you do squeeze the bottom of this to drop it out. So let's open this up and we're gonna play with this blush. But yeah, so over the weekend we did a lot of cleanup. We, like I said, cleaned out the refrigerator, cleaned out the freezer, did groceries. We had like insurance to call, all of that. But then my oldest son, I've told y'all, if you've been here before, he's gonna be a senior in high school next year, and it's tradition they get to paint their parking spot. So we had his parking spot completely painted. It was done, it was ready to go. And I had told him on Friday, I said, go up to the school, check your parking spot, see what it looks like just in case. We have a couple of days left. We had until Sunday, which was yesterday or day before when you're watching this. So he went up to the school and he came home and it was demolished. It was completely demolished. Like, it wasn't even fixable. His was not the only one. Some of them were worse than others. So we had to completely redo his parking spot in 2 days. It was hot. They're only allowed to do it from the hours of 12 to 9, and we had all of these scattered thunderstorms coming through, so we were racing the clock. We got it done. It is done, but it was a lot. It was exhausting, and that is so pretty. Y'all, that blended out like nothing. The pigmentation is there, but you could definitely shear this out. You could definitely build it up, and it just looks beautiful on the skin. It's not patching, grabbing, skipping. It's not lifting the product underneath. I'm excited to see what this is going to do on top of powder, and we are absolutely going to try that. But let's go ahead and do the other side as well. So yeah, it's been a very long week. Things have finally calmed down. They're kind of getting back to normal. We still have like the repairs and all of that to deal with, but as far as like life itself. It has resumed back to normal. Everybody's fine. There's no like leaks from the roof or anything. It was just some shingles that came off, a little bit of fence damage. Like the cars are fine, we're fine. Everybody seems to be okay. And that is what matters at the end of the day. Y'all, I am absolutely loving the way that my complexion is looking. Everything is going on absolutely beautiful. I'm not having any issues with patching, grabbing, skipping, anything weird. It's all playing together really nicely. Am I really, really glowy? Yes, I am. But in my defense, I have on the glow booster under the skin tint, and then the skin tint also has like a glow booster built into it. So it was a little bit to be expected, but let's go ahead and move on to powder because I do have a new powder to play with if I can find it in here under all of this mess. Here it is. Okay, I picked up the Polite Society More Than a Pretty powder. I've heard a lot of good things about this. I was curious about it. I do like the foundation that they came out with. It just doesn't have the best longevity for me, but I was curious about the powder because this is supposed to be pore minimizing, oil controlling, but weightless and blurring. So I'm curious to see how it's going to work on my normal skin. Is it going to like mattify me and suck the life out of my skin, or is it just going to settle in really, really nicely? Is it going to emphasize the lines on my forehead, texture, any of that jazz? But first of all, I think the packaging is really cute. It's very simple. It's very slim. I'm wondering if the packaging color matches the color powder that you got. I just got the translucent one. This is universal translucent. I didn't get the pink or a darker tone, but this is really cute. It's very lightweight. It's plastic, but it doesn't feel like a cheap plastic. So it does screw on. Okay, so we have one of these little stickers to take off. I should have been better prepared and maybe open this beforehand, but where's the fun in that? Okay, powder is open. It does have a little sifter. It doesn't have a netting or anything like that. It doesn't come with a powder puff, which I find odd. I don't always use the ones that powders come with, but most powders I feel like come with a puff. I could be wrong actually now that I'm thinking about that, but oh well. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit into the cap. Okay, I'm liking that a ton of it isn't coming out. It does take a little bit of work, but I'm gonna go ahead and go in with one of my velour little poofs right here, get it covered nice and well, and we're gonna put this on under my eye, and I'm gonna do one side of my face. That looks really pretty, y'all. That instantly blurred my under eyes. It's not crinkling, it's not accentuating texture or lines, it's not making them look dry and heavy. Granted, it's only been on for like 5 seconds, but that does look really pretty. I'm liking the way that it looks. You can see the difference of how blurred and just mattified this looks over here versus how dewy and hydrated this looks over here. Both sides look beautiful, but yeah, I'm liking the way that this looks. And I will say I've noticed I've had this concealer on for a little bit, even the foundation, and nothing has settled into my lines, nothing has creased, nothing has done anything funky. So that's a good sign. So far, y'all, I am really liking this powder. My face definitely feels set down. It doesn't have like any tackiness to it, but it feels very lightweight. It doesn't feel cakey or heavy. Honestly, it feels kind of like velvet on my skin. It feels very lightweight. It's not settling into any of my lines. It's not emphasizing texture, pores, lines, anything like that. And you can definitely tell that I have powder on my face, like it's set down and it's matte, but it looks very natural. It looks very blurred and very beautiful. I'm really liking the way that it looks. Okay, let's move on to bronzer because I have this one from Unearthly Cosmetics. This came out with their High Temp collection. I do have the eyeshadow palette to play with as well. I had planned on doing a designated video with that one last week, but with everything happening, I think I'm just gonna roll that one into like a 4 palettes, 4 looks video because I will be here forever trying to do designated videos if I do what I had planned on doing. So be on the lookout for that, but I do want to play with this bronzer. So I have the shade Fair. This is a very glowy bronzer. You can tell from the pan, and the swatches looked like they had more like a red undertone to it. So warm, but not like a orangey leaning warm, more like a cool warm, if that makes any sense. So I'm gonna do a swatch on the back of my hand. It does feel very nice. It is so glowy, y'all. This makes me nervous because of how glowy it is, but at the same time, I don't mind a glowy blush in the summer as long as it kind of fluffs out and blends into the skin. I do like that tone though. It's definitely warm, but I don't think it's going to be like an obnoxious, unwearable warm. So let's go ahead and put this on and see what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna pick this up with a Singe Beauty F05 brush. I love this for bronzer, and I'm just gonna go in very light-handed, tap off the excess, and we're just gonna start putting this on. See what it does. I have a breakout right here. I have another one right here and another one right here. My skin is so abused from not having power and being too hot to really take care of it. Honestly, I kind of slacked a lot. Is that doing anything? I can't see anything. Like, is this picking this up? It has to be picking it up. I'm gonna go in a little bit heavier. Okay, so it definitely shears out. Like, I can definitely see some color going on my skin, but it is not nearly as pigmented when you put it on with a brush as it is right here on the back of my hand, and it just has a really pretty sheen. Okay, this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting like a full-on like highlighter, really, is what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be so shimmery, so shiny, not glittery necessarily, but almost like taking a dark highlighter and putting it all over your skin, and that's not what I'm getting. This is beautiful. I really like the way this looks. Okay, Unearthly, I see you. This looks absolutely beautiful. I am wildly impressed with this bronzer. I am getting like a little bit of lifting right here, but I'm not getting it over here anywhere else. So I don't know if maybe I just didn't powder very well right there, or maybe it's just the mix of all the hydration and the dewiness going on. We'll have to keep testing this with other products, but first impression, I do think this is very beautiful. I'm liking the glow to it. It's more subtle than I thought it was gonna be. I'm liking the tone. I'm liking the pigmentation. Great job. So far, I'm really liking it. Unearthly did a fantastic job with this one. All right, we're gonna put on a little bit more blush. I don't know if I necessarily need more blush, but I want to see what this is gonna do over powder. If you know me, if you've been here for any of my videos, you know that in order for a blush or a cream, highlighter or bronzer to be an absolute standout, it has to work over an unpowdered products, because I don't always remember to put on my cream products before, and sometimes I like to reiterate them with either a powder or itself. So it has to work both ways. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more, and I'm just gonna kind of tap it on my cheek and see what it does. Okay, that looks really nice. It didn't lift the product underneath. It just kind of reiterated that color, made it a little bit more punchy, but it didn't disrupt anything. So far it's a winner. Obviously, I'll keep testing it with different formulas, different powders, different techniques, brushes, sponges, all of that, just to make sure. This is just all first impressions. This is not final thoughts on any of these products, but that looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, I have a new highlighter to try, and this one has been sitting here for a while. This is the new highlighter from Skin by Kim. I'll keep wanting to call it KKW, but she's not KKW anymore. She's Skin by Kim. So I do have this. I have her gloss as well. We will be trying that on, but I picked up the shade Rose Glow. These looked absolutely beautiful, and I will say the packaging is like her same packaging that she has across the board. This is plastic. It doesn't feel heavy or luxe. It feels kind of cheap in my opinion. You do get a mirror up here, and y'all, this is like a tiny little thing, but I'm okay with it because I feel like sometimes we get a highlighter that the pan is so big and you need so little that you'll never go through it all. So I do think I like the size of this. Actually, I do think it's a little bit pricey for what it is, but we're gonna see what it does. So let me go ahead and swatch this out a little bit. It does feel nice and creamy. It doesn't feel like it's wet or anything like that, but it doesn't feel chunky. It feels very finely milled. Let me go ahead and do this on my hand so we can see what it looks like. I feel like you just get a better view on your hand. So absolutely beautiful. It is very glowy. It has a nice punch to it. It doesn't look like it's going to be a beaming highlight, but maybe just a step up from a glow within, if that makes any sense. All right, so I'm just gonna pick this up with a Rare Beauty highlighter brush, right? Yes, a Rare Beauty highlighter brush. And we're gonna go ahead and put this right here. Oh, that's really pretty. That is really pretty. I like the way that that looks. I like that it's not chunky. It seems like it's melting into the skin. It's dispersing nicely. It's not leaving a streak on my skin. It's not like overly pigmented at the base. I don't know if it has like a transparent base to it. I wouldn't say that, but it is a very light base. But y'all, I don't know if you can see that. I got a little bit of hard pan up here. It is where I swatched my finger, but still, just want to let you know, there is a little bit of hard panning in here. I can remove it and it doesn't really bother me, but at the same time, we like it when products don't hard pan. All right, I like it. I think it's beautiful. I don't think it's anything to write home about. I don't think it's anything like innovative, anything that we haven't seen before. I mean, she came out with basic colors that we've all seen, but the formula is very nice. It is very finely milled. It's not chunky. It doesn't leave a streak. It melts into the skin. It doesn't have glitter in it or anything like that. And it packs a punch, but it's also pretty subtle as well. Let's see if we can build it up and like pack even more of a punch. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be one of those that you can kind of sheer out a little bit if you want, or you can really build it up. All right, let's do some lips and brows really quick. So I do have one of the new glosses from Skin by Kim that we're gonna try on, but before we do that, I need to take off what I already have on my lips, and I actually have on one of the Rhode Beauty Peptide Lip Tints. This is in the shade Salty Tan. I have another one right here. This one is called Guava Spritz. This is not a new product, but when she released her Pocket Blushes, she came out with some new shades in these, and she came out with bundles. So I purchased a couple bundles because I really wanted to try this. Everybody talks so highly about it, and I will say this feels very nice on my lips. I put it on before I started filming because my lips felt very dry, very parched. I do have chronically dry lips, and I will say that they do feel very hydrated. They feel very moisturized. This feels very thin on the lips. It doesn't feel heavy or thick, but it feels very moisturizing, and it does have a really pretty light wash of color. Let me show you a quick little swatch of this one on the back of my hand, just so you can see what the shade looks like. So you can see it has just that tiny little hint of a mauve shade to it. And then the other one that I have is Guava Spritz, and this one is more of like a hot pink shade. I haven't tried this one yet. I've just tried the one, and that looks very pretty. So this one's definitely going to be an absolutely beautiful like tint to the lips. It's hot pink. I think it's beautiful, perfect for summer, the kind of thing that I'm going for. But let me go ahead and take this off, and we're gonna try on this gloss. Okay, so I went ahead and lined my lips already with one of these Skin by Kim liners. This is in the shade Nude 01, and the gloss that I picked up is, I can barely read this, Nude 05. So this has a little bit more of a pinky undertone. It's not quite as light. I think this one's gonna be a little bit more flattering on my skin. So let's try this on. It does have a really nice doe foot. I like the way that that looks. Let's do a swatch right here. Okay, so very pigmented. We like that, but still kind of on the sheer side, not as much as these, but definitely more of like a gloss formula. It doesn't feel too thick or sticky, but let's put this on the lips because we're never gonna tell just on the hand. That feels really nice, actually. Like, it feels thin. It doesn't feel too thick. It has a good pigmentation to it. It doesn't feel like it's going to be sticky. It feels like it's going to have some hydration to it. It's not doing the stringy thing whenever I separate my lips. It doesn't have a plumping sensation to it either. I like this consistency. This is the consistency that I prefer in a lip gloss, unless it's a plumping lip gloss. I like something that's not too heavy, something that's not too thick, something that's not going to feel like I have a lot of product on my lips. And I like this. I like the color as well. I think it's really, really pretty. All right, let's go ahead and do brows. So I have this new one from e.l.f. This is the Brow Laminating Gel. This was actually sent to me. I can't remember if it was from Ipsy or e.l.f. Both of them will randomly just send me some products to test out, and I can't remember which one I got it from, but I have seen this on the website and I've kind of passed on it because it's not typically a product that I would go for. I don't have a lot of brow hairs. If you're new here, hello, I have my brows microbladed on. I am a victim of the 90s brow. Mine never came back, and so they always look like this, but they are tattooed on. So when I do my brows, I generally prefer either like a pencil to fill in sparse places where they've kind of faded a little bit, or a tint tinted brow gel. So this is clear. This is going to laminate. To me, this is for somebody who has a lot of brow hairs that they want to tame, they kind of want to put in place, but we're going to try it anyway. So this is clear. It's not going to add any color. I don't have anything in my brows right now. This is what they are. I didn't put pencil in them or anything like that. And we're just going to see what this does if I can get it out of here. So according to the directions, it says use the precision spoolie, apply a set amount of gel onto clean, dry brows, brush hairs back and forth to fully cover. With the comb end, sculpt the brows, then gently press down with the brush to set the hairs in place. So you have this end. Well, how does this come off? Okay, oh, okay. This whole thing comes off. I was thinking this came off. So you have this little brush, you have this little comb right here, and then you have your product with the spoolie. So that does look like it has a little bit of a white tint to it, but let's go ahead and do this. I've never done this before. So I'm just gonna start kind of brushing through, and I'm gonna kind of go back and forth, get it in there really well. I'm gonna do the one brow and then we'll see what it looks like. So good and coated, and then it says to take what, the comb and comb it through, right? Okay. Oh yeah, you can really see where my brows are tattooed on now. You can see all my poor little hairs kind of holding on for dear life up there. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. Not a fan, but I could probably go back in with a pencil and fill in. Okay, so then it says to go in with the brush and kind of set them in place. I don't know, y'all. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I said, this is not my product, but it's here. We're gonna try it. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I definitely think it could use like a pencil or a pen. You know what? I might grab my NYX lift and snatch pen. Let me grab that real quick. Hold please. All right, so this is what the brows are looking like. This is the one with the lamination and the brow pen in it, and then this is the one with nothing. So not the best they've ever looked. It's not horrible either, but looking at it up close, I can definitely see like a little bit of like that flakiness, like what you would get from hair gel in your hair, or you know, if it's been a couple days since you washed your hair and you have a ton of product buildup, that's kind of what I get from it. You can't tell from far away, but if I look at them up close, I can see it, and just knowing that in the back of my mind, it's gonna drive me nuts. So it's something I need to keep playing with and see if maybe I need to fill them in first and then put it on. Maybe I put on too much product. I don't know. I will continue to play with it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the other brow real quick off camera, and then we'll come back and we're gonna play with an eyeshadow palette. All right, so it's time for eyeshadow, y'all. My eyes are primed and ready to go. I did go in with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly. This is my all-time favorite eyeshadow primer. I have been using it for years. I don't even know how many I've been through at this time, but it's a staple in my collection. But we are going to play with the Precious Metals palette from ColourPop. I'm so sorry about the packaging. It is very metallic, very blinding, very on theme, but a little bit obnoxious when you're trying to film with it. But the color story on the inside, I thought this was absolutely beautiful. It is 100% neutral, I get that, but I'm loving the coppers, the oranges, the golds, like the more metallic shades in here. Duh, it is called, what is it? Precious Metals. Oh, I drew a blank for a second, but I think it's just really pretty. These are like the neutrals that I really enjoy. I love golds. I think golds look really pretty on my eyes, and this palette really intrigued me. So we're gonna create a look with this one today. I have already shown you swatches of this palette, although I have not swatched it yet, and I will continue to play with it. I always like to play with every single shade in a palette before I give you all my final thoughts and put it in a ranking video. But today I really want to play with, I'm kind of thinking these shades right here, maybe the golds. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and kick this look off with this shade right here. This one is called, what are you? Own It. It is very hard to read because of the background of the palette. It's just, it's very shiny, very metallic-y, and it's not the easiest to read. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with a Singe Beauty F03 brush, and I'm gonna pick up that shade called Own It, and I'm just going to fluff this into the crease, build up some shape, build up some depth, and kind of see what we can get out of this palette. Now, I really do enjoy the ColourPop formula. I do feel like they can be a little bit hit or miss, but just from what I've experienced in the past, their collabs and their bigger palettes with like these little pans in them seem to perform a little bit better. So we're gonna see if that rings true today. Okay, so now that I have that first shade down, which is like a really pretty dove gray color, I do like it. I think it's really pretty. I want to go in with this shade right here. This is like a matte with sparkles in it. It's called High Value, and I'm going to put that in my outer corner. I'm going to start to build up a little bit of depth and definition. I love my outer corner depth and drama, and I actually really enjoy the mattes with the sparkle in them. I think they're really pretty. You can pack them on and definitely get a little bit of that sparkle, or if you start to fluff them out, it just dissipates and they become a matte. But this is going on really, really nicely. I'm not getting any fallout, patching, skipping. I am getting quite a bit of kick up in the pan, and I've said it before, it doesn't bother me, but I do like to let y'all know in case it's something that annoys you or you're not into. But yeah, as long as it doesn't transfer to the eye, I don't really care. Okay, so next I want to deepen up the outer corner just a little bit more. So I'm going to go in with this shade down here. It's this really pretty like wine shade down here, and it's called Lucky One. So I'm going to pick that up with a Singe Beauty F05, and I'm just going to start to build up even more depth and drama into my outer corner, bring a little bit more color into this. This is going to be a very like cool tone neutral eye look, but this is going to add just a little bit of warmth to it, and I definitely feel like you can mix cool tones and warm tones as long as you kind of stay within the same color family. I feel like when you start to step outside that color family, that's when things can get a little bit tricky and a little bit wonky. I'm gonna take that same shade down onto my lower lash line, but I'm not gonna bring it all the way across. I just wanna keep it out here in like the outer corner where we have a little bit of that depth, just so everything stays nice and cohesive, and then I'll fluff out the rest of the lower lash line with a different shade. All right, y'all, so I did get a little bit of fallout right here with that darker shade, but it just fluffs away, so it's not anything that's gonna stick around as long as you have your under eyes powdered. I always have my under eyes powdered, so it doesn't really bother me as long as it fluffs away. Sometimes they'll stick around no matter what, but this did not do that. But let's go ahead and move on. So I'm gonna go back in with that first shade that we used in that first brush, and I'm just gonna kind of fluff out the rest of my lower lash line, making sure everything is nice and blended, cohesive. We don't have any harsh lines. I kind of want to keep it a little bit softer on the inner portion of my lower lash line. All right, let's go ahead and do some shimmer on this lid. So I have already gone ahead and primed my eyes with my NYX glitter glue per usual. And I want to play with, I think, this shade right here. This is a pressed glitter. There's a couple of them in here. I think there's 1, 2, is it only 2? I think it's just these 2 right here that are pressed glitters. I'm not the biggest fan of pressed glitters, but ColourPop actually has a pretty decent pressed glitter formula. They have improved it. It's not super chunky and gritty and hard to get off where you just have like glitter all over your face. So I don't mind theirs, but I want to play with this shade right here. This one is called Not Basic. So I'm going to pick that up with my finger, and I'm just going to pat this all over my eye, and I'm going to bring it all the way over towards my inner corner, but I am going to leave just a tiny bit of space open for something on the inner corner. But look at how pretty that is. It is so reflective, so shiny. It doesn't have a shift to it or anything like that, but it's not chunky. It's not emphasizing texture. It's going on really pretty, and I like this shade. I think it's beautiful. Okay, so for the inner corner, I definitely think I want to do a little bit of contrast. I still want it to be lighter and brighter, but instead of going in with like one of these shades that's in the same color family, I think I want to go in with this one right here. This one is a little bit more of a yellow undertone, and I think it's going to pop really nicely next to that more coppery shade. So this one is called Get Your Coin. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a Singe Beauty F01 brush. I am going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus. I spray all of my inner corner shades that I put on with a brush. I feel like it's just a little bit easier to handle them. They go on nicer. I don't get any fallout, and I have a little bit more control. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to plop you right in here, and I'm going to kind of slightly drag it over on the lower lash line and up onto the lid just to make sure that everything blends together. All right, y'all, so that is going to complete this look. I really love the way that everything turned out. I think my makeup looks absolutely beautiful. The eyes look fantastic as well. But let me go ahead and show you what I used to actually finish up this eye look, and then I'll give you my first impression thoughts on some of these products. So I did go ahead and line my lid with my Lancome Idol Ultra Precise Waterproof Liner in the shade Maple Syrup Brown. And then for my lower waterline, I went in with my Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal Liner in the shade Cinnamon. You already knew it was coming to that. And then for mascara, I went in with my YSL Lash Clash in the brown shade. But let's go ahead and chat about these products that we used today, give you my first initial impression thoughts and kind of what I think about them right off the bat. So starting off, we have the Ritual Defy Creature of Light Full Face Serum Illuminator. I think this is beautiful. I love the glow that it had to it. I was a little bit nervous when I saw it had like that pearlescent pink to purple kind of flip to it, but under my makeup, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It definitely left a glow to the skin. Obviously, it's hard to tell how much of a glow it left because I did go in with a glowy foundation over top of it, but just based off of the way that my skin looked before I put anything on, I thought it was very beautiful. It was very hydrating. It wasn't streaky, patchy. It didn't feel oily or sticky or gross or anything like that. So I'm really excited to keep testing that one out. The foundation that we used was the MAC Strobe Dewy Skin Tint. Again, it's hard to tell how glowy this is because I did go in over the top of that Ritual Defy product, but it went on very nicely. Again, it felt hydrating. It didn't feel sticky or gross. And by the time I got to powdering my face, it felt like it had dried down quite a bit. It is going to have a little bit of a tack to it just because it is more of a dewy finish. Usually our matte finish foundations are the ones that dry down fully, but it didn't feel like it was too overly sticky. I was getting my hair sticking to it a little bit over here, but like I said, that could be because I had so much like glow and illuminating going on my skin. So far, first impression, I like it. I like the coverage that I got. It was definitely a light coverage, but I need to test it out more, see what it builds up to and all of that. It is a smidgen too dark for me, but I can definitely make it work. It's not unusable. The Danielessa Myrix Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer. I thought this was beautiful. I definitely do think this runs a little bit light because I feel like the ones that were darker than this might have been too dark for me, but it's more of a brightening moment. It wasn't as stark as I thought it was going to be. It kind of settled down a little bit when I powdered over top of it, and I can manipulate the color a little bit with other powders. But as far as the formula goes, I said it when I tried it on. It felt very thin, not super watery, but just thin. It felt hydrating. It went on beautifully. A little bit went a long way, and as I was sitting here putting on the rest of my makeup, it never settled into my lines. It never emphasized texture or anything like that. And I still think it looks very beautiful under the eyes. I'm excited about this one. I almost said Natasha Denona. Danielessa Myrix usually kills it with her products. So that one I'm impressed with straight out the gate. Let's move on to blush. The blush from Hourglass. This is beautiful. I'm super impressed with it. We'll see how the wear time is, but it went on beautifully over and under powder. I didn't get any patching or skipping or lifting. Like I said, we had this one little spot over here, but that was whenever I put on the bronzer, so I'm thinking I just didn't powder very well, but very pigmented, but it shears out really nicely and it's buildable. So less is more. I actually really like this delivery system. I think it's very unique. It was very easy to control how much product I got out. I feel like the ones where you have like a pump or a squeezy tube or even the doe foot, it's very easy to get carried away. Whereas this, it's easy to just kind of like lightly tap it and just this tiny little bit comes out. So I really enjoy that. I like the shade that I got. This could be something I'm interested in picking up more in the future, but I still need to test it out more. Let's talk about the bronzer from Earthly really quick, because for me, this was like the unexpected standout of this. I didn't expect to like this. I thought it was going to be very glowy. Like I said, I thought it was going to be a dark highlighter all over my face, but I was extremely impressed with the undertone, the pigmentation, how well it blended out, how sheer it was, and that it wasn't as glowy as I thought it was going to be. Obviously, when you do a finger swatch and you get that one dark line, it's going to look scary, but you have to keep in mind, you're not digging into this with your finger and painting it on your face. You're going in with a brush, and I love the way this looks. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I feel like it just added this little bit of like a sun-kissed glow to my skin while giving me that little bit of like tanness that my skin needed, that little bit of color back to it. So I'm really impressed with this. Like I said, for me, this was the standout of all of this. This was the product I didn't expect to like. And so far, I really love this one. So keep testing it, but she's good so far. The highlighter from Skin by Kim. This is very pretty. I do have a little bit of hard pan up here. That is where I swatched my finger. So it could just be from the oils from my finger. I didn't have any where I put my brush in down here. But I do think this is a very beautiful highlight. I said earlier in the video, I don't think it's anything to write home about. I don't think it's anything innovative. It's nothing that we've seen before, but I do appreciate a really good highlighter formula. I like that it's not chunky, it's not glittery, it's not emphasizing texture. It melted into the skin. It didn't leave a line or do anything weird. It didn't grab. So I do think this is a really good product. Like I said, I just don't think it's anything groundbreaking. Like, it's a basic highlighter. Let's talk about a couple of lip products really quick. So first off, these little Rhode Peptide Lip Tints. This is the one that I had on from the start of the video. This is the other one that we swatched. I really like this formula. I get the hype. I think it's real. It's moisturizing. It's lightweight. It felt very good. It didn't feel balmy. It didn't feel waxy. It didn't feel thick or heavy. It just felt good on my lips. My lips felt nourished, like they were getting just a really good drink of water. So these could be new staples in my collection. I almost like the consistency of this more than I do the Summer Fridays Butter Bombs, and those are an absolute favorite. Those are a holy grail, but I think I might like these a little bit more, but I need to keep testing them, but I could definitely see myself picking up more shades of those. Okay, the Skin by Kim lip gloss. That's a tongue twister that we didn't know we needed. I like this. I think it looks really pretty on my lips. The pigmentation is still there. It hasn't worn off. My lips don't feel like they're dry. They don't feel as hydrated as I would prefer for them to feel. And it's not sticky, which I appreciate. It's not sticky. It's not heavy, thick, gloopy, anything like that. It just doesn't feel as hydrating as what I would want. And it's a line of basic lip glosses. Again, basic formula, basic shades, but I do think it's a good staple. I don't think it's a bad gloss. I just do think that there's other better ones out there on the market. The e.l.f. Brow Lamination Gel. This is fine. This is not my cup of tea. This is not what I go for when I go for a brow product. I prefer either a pencil, a pen, or if I'm going to do a brow gel, I want something that's got like tint to it. I want something that's going to add a little bit of fullness to my brow, kind of fill in and hold in place at the same time. But if you're into like that super stay in place, like lamination feel on your brows, this is really nice. Like, my brows are in place. They are where they belong. They still have a little bit of flexibility to them, but that could be because I brushed more through it. But yeah, like it's not for me. It's not a me product, and I'm okay with that. But like I said, if this is what you're into, I think this one is not a bad choice from the drugstore. It's affordable, and I like the packaging. I think it's cute. I like that you get all of your little tools in one place. Oh, I didn't talk about this one. The Polite Society More Than a Pretty Powder. This is beautiful. I was afraid this was going to be mattifying. It was going to be heavy. It was going to be a little too much. Like back in the day when, so the founders of Polite Society are the original founders of Too Faced, and they were bought out by Estee Lauder. They now have this brand, but their powders back in the day were always too heavy for me. They were a little bit too cakey, so that's kind of what I expected from this. But this is beautiful. It is so finely milled. It looks beautiful on the skin. It is blurring. It doesn't look cakey or heavy. And if it continues to behave this way, this could be a new favorite powder of mine. So just saying. And last but not least, we had the ColourPop Precious Metals palette. I think this is beautiful. Obviously, I did not even make a big dent into the shades in this palette, but I did use several of the different formulas in here. I used the mattes is shimmer. I used the actual shimmer formula. I used their pressed glitter formula, and I think it's beautiful. I love the way that my eye look turned out. Yes, these are pressed glitters. They are going to be drier than your Super Shocks or your other shimmers in here, but they're not as dry and gritty as other pressed glitters I have tried from other brands, other palettes. I do think that they have a fairly decent pressed glitter formula, and I don't mind it. I like it. It's fine. It doesn't bother me that they're in here, but I like the color story of this. It's neutral, but you have these more like warm pops in here. You've got cool tones, you've got lights, you've got a whole like array of things in here. So if these are your colors, if this is your jive, your thing, I think this is beautiful. From what I have tried, this is the good color pop formula, and I'm excited about this palette. There's something about a neutral that gets me going, that I really enjoy, that just, I don't know, it does it for me. As much as I love color, I really enjoy a neutral eyeshadow palette, and this one is absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to play with this yellow gold right here. I think it's gonna be absolutely beautiful, but that's gonna complete this video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know if you picked up any of these products. Let me know if you've tried any of these, if you have any of them, if they're on your wish list. Let me know some of the products that are on your wish list that you're super curious about. And I hope for anybody else out there who is in the area who is affected by Beryl, I hope you're doing okay. I hope you get your power back. I'm sending you lots of love, thoughts, vibes, prayers, the whole shebang. And yeah, but let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section down below, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me, and if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.